दुनिया में बढ़ रहा है पॉर्न का क्रेज। आइए देखते हैं कि पॉर्न के क्रेज में हिंदुस्तान कितना है तेज।
केंद्र सरकारनं अनेक पॉर्न वेबसाईटवर बंदी घातल्याचा निर्णय घेतला आहे.
Ministers were caught on camera by local TV channels watching porn on a mobile phone inside the assembly.
What is pornographic? I mean, somebody's who can be my you.
Pornography is the main root cause for the all type of sexual offense. मैंने महिलाएं सुरक्षित नहीं है, बच्चे सुरक्षित नहीं है, लड़कियां सुरक्षित नहीं है, उनकी सुरक्षा की वजह से मैंने ये लगाया.
In a country where little to no sex education exists in schools, the internet is teaching people about sex and also allowing them to explore what turns them on.
By watching pornographic websites, how am I in the confines of my home without hurting a third person or influencing a third person? How am I causing disruption to public order?
Well, you might get corrupted and then become become a sex maniac. Yeah, yes, you might become a sex maniac and you'll start running around raping people. God knows.
In 2013, there were two porn bans, proposed porn bans, one in the Supreme Court of India and the other in the Rajya Sabha. And these bans sort of said, these proposed bans said many things, but what kept coming up again and again was the idea that women needed to be protected from pornography. And the reason that we needed to ban pornography in India was for women's rights. As a woman, I found this really unsettling, and I kept hoping that an Indian woman would write a book on pornography, centering the experiences of women, of men too, and of people of all genders and sexual orientations. So, for example, one woman I spoke to, her name is Sasha, and she sort of started photographing herself naked on her mobile phone and then slowly uploading these pictures to Reddit. And she said that, like, from being on Reddit and given the really appreciative comments she got on her photographs, she sort of felt herself accept her body type and felt like people would find her body attractive. And that's something, the kind of feedback that she'd not gotten from society, but that she was able to find online by participating in this sexy space. Someone else I spoke to was Sonali, a lesbian woman who was growing up in the UAE. And she was living in a really sort of homophobic society that didn't even mention any desires that weren't absolutely straight. And it was only going online and sort of stumbling accidentally upon a lesbian chat room that she actually had conversations with lesbian women. And through these conversations and through these sexual interactions, was able to see herself as a lesbian teenager and later as a lesbian woman. And I think this is something that kept coming up again and again. Like, people were able to see themselves as sexual beings or feel accepted for the types of desires they had when they went online. So whether that happened through a chat room or posting sexy pictures or through watching different types of pornography that actually reflected their desires, which may not be, you know, heterosexual, upper caste, married desires, that sort of gave them that recognition that what they felt inside themselves was okay as well. And I think that's kind of the biggest trend that I saw across everyone I interviewed as well as the people I surveyed.
There are many housewives, for instance. You know, there are many Indian, not just housewives, let me put it this way, many Indian married women who look at Sunny Leone as a threat towards their husbands.
Rape videos for sale, graphic videos of the victim and the predators, compiled, audio effects thrown in and sold across the counter.
So digital technology has not like created new systems of control over women's bodies, but it's provided new platforms for the same hierarchies to operate. So what is now a rape video before was, you know, only rape, but the fact of the rape remains, right? The online world in general is not separate from the offline world. And the ways in which we live with technology are not different from the ways in which we live with each other. And if the way society operates is that through the idea that a woman's body is always up for grabs, then that same kind of ideology is going to frame our experience of technology.
16 of the world's largest adult website, Pornhub, is to be believed. India overtook Canada to clinch the third position in porn viewership.
So something that I spoke about in Cyber Sexy was that in 2016, the most searched for word coming out of India on Pornhub had the word Indian in it. So I think like it's really clear that people are desperate for desi porn, and you can understand that because like if all you see are white bodies, that's not something that most of us can relate to. So people are looking for Indian porn, they want Indian porn, but sadly most of what exists online coming out from this part of the world is a consent violation. And I'm not only talking about rape videos, but for example, let's say a video has been shot consensually between a woman and her partner releases it online, or he sends it as a WhatsApp forward. So there's a whole bunch of consent violations that are functioning as porn online today. Hidden cameras in cyber cafes, hidden cameras in changing rooms, revenge porn, or essentially partners releasing intimate videos without the consent of the person in question. And all these things are functioning as pornography. And this is obviously not okay at all. But the response to it can't be that, oh, okay, well now we have to have no sexual content online. What we actually need is better content and more consensually produced content. But we're not going to get that content featuring Indians if making porn in the first place is illegal. All we're going to be left with is this sort of murky space of consent violations and never fully being sure if what we're looking at is consensual or not. Whole porn coming out of the kinky community that very much foregrounds consent. So before a video even starts, you have, for example, the people who are part of the video talking about how they fully consented to whatever's going to happen and whatever you see on screen. As viewers of porn, as consumers of porn, we can really try. We can try our very best. We can like look at platforms that we trust. We can look at filmmakers that we trust. There are some platforms in which women share their own sexual pictures. If you look at Tumblr, Tumblr has amazing accounts of like women who take pictures of their bodies and share them. So there's really amazing ethical porn being made in like different parts of the world. It's progressive, it's feminist, it's radical, it's really amazing. But the only reason this porn can be made in the first place is because making porn is legal in those countries. And I really, really feel like in India, we have one of the biggest porn viewing populations in the world. So I just feel like we should be making the best of what porn has to offer and not the absolute worst. I think finally, decriminalizing porn is about respecting the human right to sexuality. And I think that as humans living in the digital era, we do have the right to facilitate sexuality and sexual pleasure free from harm using technology.